recognize this music and I like it because it's The
Yay!
Witcher.
Yay! Yeah, I threw some Witcher in here.
Nice. By the way, was the story thus far enough to remind everyone of what happened session one?
Yeah, I figure it was. I was gonna do a quick rundown as well.
Fair enough.
Everything caught on fire.
Yep.
The end.
No, not quite. Penny is missing.
Caught on fire. The end.
Yeah, so last time we were all introduced to the characters who were protecting a relief cart that belonged to Coriander, the Vulpin. You were also introduced to Endo, who's Taunok's kind of charge, I guess, the little Jerbean, and then Penny the Hedge. On the way to Harvester, you were attacked by a group of Mapatch bandits who were swiftly defeated, and you found a note on one of them that stated that some of the bandits you think are gathering in Meadowfen. You arrived in Harvester and helped the villagers in a grand old time. And a couple of the rumors that you heard from Aldrich, the Servan Elder of Harvester, were that there was an increase in bandit and fire creature activity in the area, as well as a strange rumor of a ghostly Servan that appears north of Seltar's Point. He couldn't really tell you if this Servan helped or hurt others that encountered it. It seems like the rumors are kind of every which way. So you stayed at Saphira's Sapphire Guest House. And during the night, Maybelle had an ominous dream. Voice was telling her to run. She saw flames as well as this giant humanoid creature in the distance in her dream. She was forced to wake up and found that Harvester was catching fire. You all worked to help the citizens of Harvester, and in the chaos, you ended up losing Endo and Penny. And while Endo was found, Penny is still nowhere to be seen. The refugees are now heading to Meadowfen on the road. You saw smoke all along the western corner of the grove, so kind of think the corner of the grove to about there. And showing that the fire is at spread pretty far down that corner. Coriander had suggested you speak with Meadowfen's village elder about getting an audience with the Birdfolk Council in Alderheart to kind of bring the news of this great fire that's spreading. And that's what happened last time. And now we can get to this week. It's been a couple of days, so you all would have had the ability to get a long rest. You've been traveling for a couple days with the refugees with minimal issues. You've been able to get food from nearby farms, and the group hasn't been attacked by any bandits or creatures. Coriander has given you each a fee, a fee of 10 gold for helping. And taking stock of those in the group, the folk you know are missing include Penny, Aldrich, as well as Frederick, who Ivo met, who was the Gallus smithy. You're expected to arrive in Meadowfen the next morning, and it's now getting to the evening. The refugees are beginning to grow tired, and with Aldrich missing, Werner, that Strigg town guard, is taking point. Some of the villagers have begun to get annoyed with him. Seems like the power is getting to his head. But many of the others are very open to his increasingly strong leadership in these times. The other town guard, Mary the Ermine Mapatch, has grown very, very reserved. She kind of just sits at the corner of the group, or walks at the corner of the group, kind of keeping her head down and ignoring everybody. And as it's reaching the evening, Werner raises his voice and says, "Okay, it's time to build camp. We rest tonight, and then tomorrow we'll be in Meadowfen." And you're all free to do what you'd like.
I would like to scavenge the surrounding area and see what I can find for ingredients to feed our miserable horde.
Yeah, go ahead and roll a check that does that.
To be survival.
Yes.
I have no idea what I rolled. 26! Yeah!
Yep, you find all the things.
Oh,
Find
sexy.
whatever you like. You make a wondrous dinner tonight.
Beautiful. I'd like to feed as many people as I can using my cook's utensils.
Yay.
Big old dinner for everyone.
Yep, Coriander is very happy about that. She kind of still lets out a sigh, though, and kind of leans against her cart. She's been pretty withdrawn since the escape from Harvester, especially since Penny is gone, and realizing that a lot of her items that she had for sale or trade have now been burned or damaged by water.
I know, I'm so
Anybody
sorry.
else? That's okay.
Yes, I would like to focus on the children and some of the downhearted, and I'd like to start juggling daggers, like performing tricks for them.
Yeah, some of the Gerbine children that Endo was playing with run over to you and are kind of giggling and laughing as they run around you, and their parents look very happy that they've got some relief from this.
Kaunok's watching you too. But also not taking eyes off of Endo for more than a moment.
Yep, Endo would run up to Ivo and be like, "Can I try juggling too?"
Well, when you get a little older and you're able to balance these, then yes. But for now, you should practice with wooden sticks.
Okay. And he runs into the, I guess, the northern part where because the road, the northern half is kind of the forests and farmlands, and the southern, you're getting into the swamps as you are getting closer to Meadowfen. So he runs to the northern end, grabs a couple of sticks, runs back, and starts trying to balance them.
Just make sure when you've got them balanced, then you have to try and flip them and catch them again. So take your time, and when you can, we'll upgrade you.
I can't wait for the upgrade. Gotta do it with an actual dagger. I'll look so cool.
Of that you will.
Kanak, look! And he will attempt to flip a stick. He does okay. He doesn't quite catch it, but he was close.
You've got a talent for this.
Yeah. Suppose you're decent at it.
And he's like basking in all the praise. Is Volker doing anything?
Nothing in particular. He's probably just sitting down off to the side on his own. Sort of, like when people like roll like quarters through their fingers. He's probably got like a small gem that he's sort of pensively looking at while he sort of rolls this gem through his fingers like that.
Very nice. And everyone can make a perception check.
Let's hope my rolls are better than last week.
Just a sec.
Yeah, not too shabby.
Well, I hope one of us sees whatever we're supposed to.
Yeah, so everybody sees a unfamiliar wounded Strig woman who's kind of come from the northwest side of the group and is moving through the crowd towards Werner. She is uh, looks like a kind of an elf owl, so brown feathers. She's rather small. And she's kind of got a little bit of singed feathers, limping a little bit, is moving through to get to Werner. Um, Everybody also sees kind of a group of unfamiliar Mapatch also walking through the crowd, although they're moving with much less purpose than the Strig woman was. Taunok also sees an unfamiliar hooded Vulpin walking.
While tending my stew pot, I'd like to call out to the strig lady.
Yeah, she kind of looks over to you and is like, "Oh, yes?
May I say, if you come over here, I can help you with your wounds.
Oh, that would be great." And she walks over to you. "I've walked a long way. It's been kind of tough, but I've made it to, I guess, this group."
From which city do you hail? And I'd like to
Uh,
check her over while I'm asking questions.
yeah, you can make a medicine check. I'm Kara. I'm from Meadow. Sorry, I'm from Ashborough.
From Ashborough.
And you can start bandaging her wounds and helping her.
I would like to use a. I would like to cast Goodberry and give her one. I don't know
Yeah.
how much that would help, but
Yeah, we can say that she kind of takes it, and you can see her visibly relaxing as a warmth flows through her belly.
yeah. And they'll continue to like actually bandage her.
Where are you all from?
The Grove was my home.
Oh, so
But,
from near the Grove then. Is everybody from there then?
no, so Harvester just burned down.
Oh, the fire spread that far then.
Yeah. Were you the only one to escape Ashborough?
Oh, no, no. Ashborough is actually well off. Well, relatively speaking, I suppose. Only a third of it was razed to the ground. The grove nearly took Ashborough, but we were able to get people to safety and the fire stopped. Most of the villagers who were displaced, they're either at the inns or in the nearby farmhouses, so we're not too bad, although I wanted to speak to Meadowfen and Winnowing Reach and see if I can get help for Ashborough, but and she kind of looks around the crowd and is like, "It seems like help's gonna be a bit strained."
Oh, um, we plan on talking at least with the mayor. You might as well join us since we're all going the same way.
"Oh, that would be great, thank you. I was
Um,
going to speak with," and she kind of points at Werner, and it's like, "He seemed like he was a leader, but I also, his demeanor is kind of strange."
makeshift.
Hmm. Okay. Well, I definitely like chatting with you, so I know you're all going to Meadowfen. I can stay here. Yeah?
Yes, naturally. I'm working on making dinner for everyone. So you might as well hang around.
Yep, I can definitely help.
Oh, thank you. An extra set of hands is always welcome.
Taunok can see that Maybell is talking with the Strig What's the threat assessment on the other two groups? Eyeing them from here.
Threat assessment.
The map hatch group moving through, and then also the one Vulpin who looks kind of sneaky shady.
Yeah. Make an insight. Yep, they are definitely shifty. They don't seem to have good intentions like Farah does. At the very least, the map hatch are definitely up to something. The Vulpin's a bit harder to read.
Endo's still hanging out with Ivo.
Yep.
Taunak's gonna get Volker's attention. Make sure that point out both groups and just say, which one do you want to go deal with?
Kind of just shrugs and gets up because he was, sitting down and whatever's fine.
Fine. You go look over into the Vulpin. That seems a little more your speed. I'll go see about the map hatch. And Taunak will just start walking off towards that group and keeping an eye on him, seeing what's going on.
Yep. You can see that
Is it daytime right now?
it's getting towards evening, so the sun is kind of setting. And you can see that one of the map patch has started to reach for the pocket of one of the villagers.
Oh, big old just talony hand gonna close around that wrist and just be like, you're new to the group.
The map patch kind of hisses and looks back at him like, what's it to you? I'm from Ashborough.
Ah, yeah. Heard that fire's out that way too. We could see the smoke from here.
Yeah, where's this group from?
Oh, what is the name of it? I've lost it.
Harvester.
Harvester. It's a terrible sight. These folks have really been through a lot.
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
catch my drift.
You kind of see him try to pull away his hand.
Taunok is not letting go.
I wasn't doing anything.
Mm-hmm. Sure you weren't. And you're gonna keep not doing anything, along with all your friends. Is that clear?
That is not how you spell loud.
Oh yeah. Taunok is not being quiet about this. He is very much drawing attention. Not only of the map hatch and any other map hatch around, but also just the villagers, so they know something's up.
Yeah, you do hear all the villagers kind of whispering amongst each other, and even the hedge woman that the map hatch was going to take from kind of turns around and is gasping and stepping back.
Seeing this, is it possible for me to, best way to put this, counter steal? Like when they pick something, I pick it from them.
Oh yeah, you can make a sleight of hand check.
Okay.
Yeah. You take 5 gold from one of the map hatch that's just standing there watching.
I said, are we clear? I just
All right,
tightens
you're
the
all
grip
right.
a little bit.
We're fine. We'll leave.
Taunok will watch them intently to make sure that they're do his best to make sure that they're not taking anything and being big and blustery and obvious.
The Mapatch like mutter angrily to one another as they kind of stalk towards the forest. And the hedge smiles at you and is like, "Oh, thanks so much. I don't have much left."
There's gonna be more trouble than it was worth anyway. And not engage with her any further.
So it's like, how many of the children were there?
The only one in that area, although the children would have taken some notice, especially after Ivo left. The only one there is the hedgewoman's daughter, as well as Endo did live over when Taunok started screaming.
I'd call Endo closer, and with the townswoman's daughter nearby, I'll just hand out a gold piece to each of them.
Endo's eyes wide. "Oh, this is amazing!" And he tries to flip the coin, and it falls to the ground. He scampers down, grabs it, and tries again, and is now having great amusement attempting that. The hedge daughter looks up to her mom and smiles and is like, "Mummy, look what he gave me." And the hedge woman thanks you again.
Well, it's better than having unscrupulous types hanging around, wouldn't you agree?
"Oh, definitely, definitely," the mother responds.
You're gonna spoil those little twerps rotten, Ivo.
Well, it's nice to spoil children when you have the chance. And Ivo will go back to playing the fool.
Yep. Endo runs over and follows him.
I will lean
And
into my new string friend and be like, "Oh, those boys. Oh, they're such wonderful gentlemen. You should really go get to know them."
oh, are they your friends?
And I can see they just stopped something from how loud and blustery Taunok was.
Yeah, perhaps I will go speak to them. Thank you so much for healing my injuries again. I feel so much better.
Anytime, dear.
Yep, and Kara will get up and kind of move towards Taunok and say, "Oh, your friend, Maybell, she told me what you've done. It's great."
What I've done? News to me.
"You helped the hedgewoman."
Heh. Just stopped things from getting out of hand before they caused any more problems we needed. Who are you?
"Oh, I'm Kara. I'm from Ashborough."
I see. Saw the smoke out that way.
"Yes, I told your friend. The village is mostly fine. We just lost about a third of it. But the villagers, we've been able to move them, just trying to get extra help."
Well, it's good to hear. Don't need that many more mouths to feed.
"Yes, I'm not sure how much extra help I can get for Ashborough, but maybe something."
Well, there ain't no harm in asking at the very least.
Yeah, I will be joining the group for at least a little bit to get to Meadowfen and speak with the village elder there.
Taunok narrows his one good eye at her. Just, you're not here causing trouble too, are you?
No, definitely not.
Does he trust her?
Yeah, make an insight check.
Like,
Well,
just incredibly.
this.
The
Yep.
most honest person he's ever met.
Yep.
Ah, fair enough. And then he's gonna, given that the Mapatch have kind of scattered, turn his look to Volker to see what's going on at this point with the Vulpin.
Yeah, Volker, in that whole hullabaloo that Taunok caused you notice the Vulpin look back and then try to duck down and disappear into the crowd, but she has failed. So she's moving northward towards where the map hatch had gone. And kind of tugging at her hood.
You speak Vulpin, so I'm just trying to think of what to say to them. So they are leaving, though. They're going the way that the map hatch went.
Yep.
So I guess in Vulpin, then I will just kind of loud enough for them to hear. I'll just say, "Wise choice."
Yeah, the Vulpin turned towards you, and you do see that she's a woman, and she just smiles and says, "Well, I didn't intend for them to do something like that."
Volker just kind of nods at her and heads over towards the rest of the group.
Yeah, she smiles and just keeps moving towards where the map hatch gone.
Seeing Volker and the Vulpin separate and the map hatch well on their way, Taunok would reconvene with Volker, be like, "So? What's the word?"
Sorry, I just cut out. I missed everything that just happened in the last 5 seconds. Did anybody say anything?
Mm-hmm.
Taunok came over to Volker to check and see what's
Oh,
going
so
on.
it looks like our map hatch friends may have had friends, but decided after your little display that may not be in their best interest to stick around, so they made their exit as well.
Well, suppose it's less trouble for us.
Well, hopefully. I've had enough of that recently, more than I'm really accustomed to.
You can say that again. Anyways, we best get some grub.
Go ahead. I'll keep an eye out and make sure that they don't loop back around.
I'll bring you something if it's worth stomaching. Taunok will make his way to Maybell's makeshift kitchen.
And Volker will just kind of like, not like, he just kind of slowly, I guess, kind of circles around the camp or wherever they're all kind of like gathered around, just not like obviously like, scoping out the things, but just kind of like, again, he'll probably pull out his little jewel and he'll be sort of like absent-mindedly rolling it through his fingers while just kind of like taking his time, slowly walking around, looking for anything untoward, because I don't have like my, I'm a level 1 wizard. I can't cast like alarm or anything.
Yeah. Yeah, you do notice like a little bit of shuffling in the leaves, but you can't exactly tell if that's just an animal that's gone through the forest leaves or something else. But keeping an eye on that area, nothing happened. So must have just been an animal. And Saphira has gone over to Maybell and as well and is like, I can help hand out food.
Oh, thank you so much.
She just nods.
Ivor will lead the children over to the food. Right, come on. It's time to eat. No more tricks for now.
Yep, the Jerbean children start like chattering happily, and Endo's like, What's we got for dinner this time?
I'm going to assume stew.
You again.
It could be nice. You shouldn't judge before you try it.
I guess that's true. And have to be good because this is not a good time. But still, I will eat the stew.
If it's bad, just go to the edge of camp and chuck it in a bush.
Okay.
Endo! Endo!
Yeah,
Where is that
yeah.
little brat?
I'm here.
Get over here. I need someone to taste test this. Make sure it's not poison.
Okay. And he runs over, like, ready to eat.
Oh, you lot are in luck today. I managed to get a whole dragonfly wing and I powdered it and put it right in there. And you'll like all the ant legs, won't you? I'm just lightly teasing everyone.
Oh no, I don't like when bugs are put in the stew.
Taunok visibly shudders.
I'm just teasing, my dears.
So it's yummy?
I got a whole bunch of stuff today.
One way to find out. Come on, kiddo. You first.
Yep. And he
Right.
takes a spoon and eats it.
Lord Kareth blessed us with a bounty today.
And he smiles and is like, actually, this is really good. It's better than yesterday.
I know, I'm sorry about yesterday.
Come on, you better try some from mine too, in case she's just got it out for me. Here.
Okay. And he goes and he takes a giant spoonful and is like, yep, it's good.
Good.
I like you, Taunok, but you're not that much of my
Yes, clearly Endo's her favourite.
favorite.
She's just
And-
fattening him up to put in the next one.
No, I can never do that to anyone.
Yeah, she wouldn't do that ever.
Not even once.
We're just
Mm.
feeding you to be a nice big performer in the future, aren't we?
Oh, yeah. Look what I can do now. And he attempts to throw the stick and juggle it and still fails. I'm gonna get better at it soon, don't worry.
Hey, it looks like you're halfway there. Are you learning to juggle?
Yep. I'm gonna juggle daggers eventually.
Oh, daggers. That's frightening.
Mm-hmm.
Here, I thought you were learning to throw sticks on the ground.
No, I can do it this time. And he tries again. And it also falls to the ground. Wait. I can do it. I can can just give me one.
Could I
Second.
could I assist him, just like showing him slowly the movements he has to do with his hand?
Yep. Gonna give him advantage. And this time he does actually catch it.
Very good, Endo.
Well, I'll be.
Look, I did it. And he kind of swings the stick around.
Oh, and I'm gonna grab his bowl, make sure it doesn't tip.
Wait, what? I wasn't watching.
No. You have to watch. Okay. And he kind of walks to the side where your eye is visible and he tries once more. And it falls to the ground.
Oh. Just remember in the future, slow, precise movements.
Okay, slow, precise movements. I'll remember that.
Tell you what, finish your soup up first. Then we can go bring some to Volker so he doesn't waste away to nothing. Then we can try again.
Okay. And then he starts just gobbling down his soup or stew.
I'll lean over into Endo's ear. You know, we're still traveling. If you find a couple of good sword sticks, you might be able to sword fight with some of the guys.
Oh, okay. I will keep a lookout.
Now give him a pat on the head and start serving more soup.
And Saphira starts passing it around, and Kara takes one from Saphira gratefully.
Thank you for the soup. The stew, Maybell.
Oh, you're most welcome. I do what I can. The soul is just as important as the body. Gotta keep spirits up.
True, especially on a what that comes down to a refugee caravan. Keeping spirits up is important.
Just gonna pet you on the cheek.
Well, make
Not in
sure,
like a condescending way, but just in a very like you're a good soul way.
well, just remember to eat some yourself.
That's something to graze on. You just eat up now. Gotta keep your strength.
Either will head back over and sit with all the children and eat his stew.
Yay. And Coriander will come over and get some stew from Saphira as well. And she kind of smiles down at Endo as Endo's like, okay, I'm done.
Good, that means you got free hands. You can carry it over for Volker.
Yeah, I can do that. And
Come
he
on.
kind of-
Don't need you
kind of-
wandering off again.
he holds the stick under his arm as he runs over, following Taunok.
Walk or else you'll spill it.
Oh, okay. And he like comes to an abrupt halt. A little bit of the soup does splash over the edge.
Volker! It's edible.
I've got your soup. And he slowly walks it over to Volker.
I'll take it, and well, he won't even take it. He'll just sort of like, kind of walk back with, so that he doesn't have to carry it himself. And then he'll, once he's over there with everybody else, he'll start eating it. Let everybody know, I did see some ruffling in the trees, but nothing to be concerned about.
And Kara's eyes widen. Hopefully it's not bandits. I did see some coming down here.
Oh, we have our big tough warriors, and they'll lightly clap our men on the shoulder. Yeah,
That is true.
We are
You
quite
did,
capable.
yeah, you did scare some of the other ones away, which was great.
And Coriander's been lovely.
You
Oh.
saying I'm scary?
You? Oh, a little bit.
Well, scary isn't the word I would choose, more like horrifying.
Only when you smile.
Hmm.
Endo pipes up. Nope, you're not scary at all. You're super nice.
Well, apparently you haven't been paying close enough attention there, then, kiddo.
I've been paying all of the attention.
And Taunok will just reach down and like roughly rough his hair.
Oh, hey!
Hmm.
And as you keep speaking, it gets darker and darker until it is nighttime now. A couple of the families have kind of huddled together and are dozing off.
I'll have cleaned up my kitchenware and spent some time trying to mend, using the cantrip mending, as many of Coriander's bits and bobs as I physically can, seeing my water damaged quite a bit of it.
Oh, thank you. You don't have to do so much.
Well, I mean, kind of, at least a little bit was my fault. It's the least I can do.
Oh, No, don't worry yourself. If you had done nothing, everything would have burned, and that would have been a bit more difficult to mend.
Well, you have to make a living somehow too.
I'm not sure how much of that I will be doing soon. In the more recent times, I wouldn't mind, as I said, staying around Meadowfin to help the refugees.
Well, you have a knack for it. That's very true.
Certainly a nice place from what I remember coming through. Good, sensible folk there. Build their places where they actually belong.
Yes, they do get a lot of movement through the main roads, so they are a bit more well off than some of the grove villages.
Hmm. One of new the new string that's appeared, she was saying that only a third of Ashborough burned down. So at least they're not quite as bad off as we had anticipated.
She nods and is like, that's good. There is one other village there east of Ashborough. I hope that they are also fine. And she's talking about a place called Hillcrest. Mitchell, I'm gonna stick it right here.
Yay.
Yay! And Kara kind of looks at Coriander when she speaks of it and is like, "Oh, Hillcrest. Actually, that they're fine. The It's a bit strange, actually. They are a bit more into the grove than Ashborough was, but they're fine.
Hmm, that's weird.
Yeah, the fire just seemed to kind of dodge them.
Hmm.
Well, some people do seem to have all the luck.
Mm-hmm. It, um, yeah, some of the villagers in Ashborough were talking about going over there to get some help too.
Tara,
Mhm.
from where we were in Harvester, would Hillcrest have been like north of there? Through the
Kind of,
fire?
yeah, because it would have Harvester's there or was there,
Okay.
and the fires went from here to there.
Okay, so if we were looking through the fire, we would have been looking at these hills instead of towards Hillcrest.
Yeah, or you would have been looking, I guess, towards Ashborough.
Okay, I just want to
Because the
make sure.
fires can make shapes. Where's the shape? Gosh.
You can make
Fire
little
is
squares and circles and stuff, but that's about. Yeah.
the fire was like this, except less in the grove than I put it,
Okay.
and less on the road. I just made a square. Whoops.
Okay, because I was making theories, but if I was looking in the wrong direction, then. Gotcha. Thank you, Tara.
No problem.
For my sake, one last time. The name of the town that burned down?
Is
Harvester.
Harvester.
Yep. I assume you're adding it to the map.
Don't know what you're talking about.
No. Oh dear.
Nice. Good work.
Yay. And as it gets later into the night, Coriander is just like, well, I suppose it's time for me to go to sleep.
Mm.
And she looks at Kara and is like, you are welcome to sleep near me if you would like and share a tent. At least that of mine didn't burn. And Kara's like, oh, if you don't mind, I didn't exactly run from Ashbro with a tent.
She's a lovely lady. You're gonna have a good time.
She does seem really nice from what she's spoken about.
She's the one that's been taking the relief caravan around.
Oh, I've heard about that actually.
Mhm. She's a lovely lady.
She smiles and is like, oh, thank you so much, Coriander. And she kind of follows off as Coriander heads back towards her cart. And y'all,
Would there,
oh, go ahead.
oh, sorry, I was gonna ask, would there happen to be like a big barrel hanging around? Like a
Um,
stock barrel?
Not really. Everyone had ran from Harvester pretty quick, so no one
I
had a
figured.
chance.
But not even on Coriander's cart.
There was a burned, like a half burned one, so you can get one
Mhm.
that's like singed. It's still able to hold things, but not. It isn't a full barrel.
Okay. I'd like to gather a collection, as I assume I would have the last few nights, and use my second spell slot to cast Create and Destroy Water and create drinking water for everyone.
Yep, that works perfect. And Werner is currently just standing kind of at the edge southeast of the group. Fuji is just keeping watch.
Nice.
And with that, we can go to nighttime unless there was anything you wanted to do.
I don't think so.
No, I'm good.
Good here.
Nope, nothing.
Oh, so you wake up the next day, and Werner is the one who kind of like calls everybody awake and gets them all packed up and moving again towards Meadowfen. No issue happened in the night with those Mapatch or the Vulpin. So everything seems fine and dandy.
Nice.
And unless there's anything you guys wanted to talk about on the road, within like the next hour or two, you do get to.
I'd like to identify which party member of ours has that Mapatch Bandit letter.
Not I.
Not Volker.
Someone grabbed it. It wasn't me.
Sure. I don't remember, but sure.
Okay. I wanted to look it over since we're headed to the place that implied there was more bandits there. And see if we could possibly work together to decode anything that might be hidden in the letter or figure out anything of deeper interest.
Yeah, if that's the case, Ivor will go over the bandit letter with Maybell.
Yeah, if you want, you can roll an investigation check
Sure.
with advantage.
Would the fact that Ivo knows thieves' cant Would that come in handy? Like, you may spot something not noticeable to others?
Nice.
Yep, and you see kind of strangely scratched into the paper as if it was written on like under a paper to leave a slight impression. You see it says something like, I guess, translated from Thieves' Cant. Um, the bandit coalition is growing. Benna wants everybody back.
So, could I get that name in chat? What, Benna?
Yeah.
Benna. Nice.
Well, it seems that the person who wrote a note before this unfortunately left some hidden clues on this one. It seems like a person going by the name of Benna has alluded to the bandit coalition growing and wanting everyone back.
That doesn't sound good.
I agree.
Coalition. That's really not good. That's going to be some pretty steep numbers.
Well, there's always smaller bands of bandits going around, but if they've joined together, that's going to be an issue for, well, even the major towns.
Mm. Well, let's look at the others then.
Yep. If you move towards the others, Endo is walking beside Taunok and is still attempting to juggle the stick. And that's actually catching it.
Wow, you really improved.
Right? He only hits the ground about half the time now.
Yeah, and I haven't found a good stick yet for sword fighting though.
Oh, that's supposed to announce to everyone. It's a
Sword fighting?
No, I'm not sword fighting. I'm only juggling a stick.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I'm only juggling a stick.
Very much practicing, so
Yep.
he can throw that.
I'm gonna throw 2 sticks, and then I'm gonna throw a dagger, and I'm gonna make them juggle.
You know, if you get really good at throwing daggers, you might be able to trim Taunok's eyebrows.
That would be very funny.
All right, Taunok, we need to talk for a minute.
Oh? About what?
I'll take Ivo to the other children if you wish to inform the others.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Come on, Endo, let's work on your form.
Yep, I'm gonna have 2 sticks.
Ooh, that's advanced.
I can do it.
I'm sure you can.
So you know that map patch letter that we got from the bandits you laid out?
Yeah?
It turns out there was a hidden message, and they have a coalition, and somebody named Benna is trying to recall a bunch of them.
That's so.
Mm-hmm.
We know why?
Nope.
Well, sounds like none of our business.
Well, I mean, if there's that many bandits in one place, at least you might want to keep an eye on Endo and your wallet.
Good point. All right, well, thanks for the heads up.
Yeah. All right, and move on.
Yep. So, as you reach Meadowfen, you notice that it's much busier than the last time you arrived. A lot of folk are running back and forth with carts of food and necessities and other supplies. It seems that word had reached Meadowfen of the incoming refugee group. So, like a lot of the volunteers, villagers of Meadowfen, are kind of helping get all of the refugees settled in, and the village elder, a blue black feathered Gallus, is kind of standing watch and keeping an eye on things as all the refugees come in.
Well, isn't this a proper welcome?
Yep. The elder nods and is like, "We did hear or notice the smoke, so we figured that the villagers would be coming at some point."
Well, thank you for preparing to take them in and to give them refuge.
He nods. "It'll be hard for just. We are hoping to get more help." And he kind of looks at you guys. "You don't seem to be from Harvester."
No, we were traveling with Coriander's relief carriage.
He nods and is like, "Oh, yes, yes, I did hear of her carriage or caravan. It, everything is all right?"
Harvester is gone.
Kind of grows silent.
Yeah, I'll downcast my eyes.
"No wonder the group is so large."
Mm. From the sounds of it, Ashbarrow got hit pretty hard too, but they're gonna bounce back.
He nods. "Good." Ikara pipes in, "Yep, I'm from Ashborough. I came to see if we can get help, but definitely help Harvester first." "Oh, don't worry. I'll see what I can do."
Um, in any case, Village Elder, I am Maybell from the Relief Caravan, from the Grove, really. And would it be okay if you have time later? Would like to ask you some questions, please.
He nods. "Of course. My home," and he kind of turns around and points. "Some of the rooms are being used for refugees, but I still have my own room upstairs. Just come up and knock on the first door to your left when you reach the second floor. The front door at least, will be unlocked."
Not to be rude, but what may I call you?
"Oh, yes. My name is Ardwin." He nods.
Say Argvan?
Ardwyn. Ardwin.
Oh. Nice. That's a good name. All right. Thank you. And kind of look around and see what I can help set up.
Yes, some of the volunteers have been setting up tents for, I guess, like the people that, like, there's not enough of homes and rooms and such. So they're setting up tents for some of the refugees kind of on the north side of town. And if you want, you can go help them.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tanok will help out as well.
Anyone else?
I'll continue what Ivo's been doing and try and act as a comic relief to whoever's seeming worse off.
Yeah, so the Gerbine mothers at this point kind of, I guess, not expect you to do that, but once they see that you're doing that, they're kind of like push their children towards you and then go see what necessities that they can grab. So essentially, you've become relegated to babysitter.
That seems fair. He's not good at much else, but he's good at entertaining children.
Yeah,
Volker is
and
just gonna keep an eye out like he has been. He's
yeah,
a little antsy about people showing up and getting attacked by bandits, and so he's kind of on edge.
so you can make a perception check.
I'm not good at it. I'm not very wise.
Yeah, you don't notice anything.
I'm not very wise. Don't you have a +3?
It has a +3, but I have a +6 to investigation.
And a couple of the Meadowfen children have noticed Ivo and have kind of come over to watch as well.
Yeah, just showing off with the daggers, juggling, and like hitting a wooden board with them from a distance. Just basic clown carnival type deal.
Oh, whoops. That's not what I meant to do. I'm sorry.
Anything else anyone wanted to do?
Not so much until things are set up and good to go.
Yeah, so it takes a couple of hours and then everything is set up. The like northern half of Meadowfen and going into the fields, it's now a lot of tents. A lot of the families have kind of claimed one. A couple of the older villagers from Harvester have gotten rooms in the elder's house. And now the volunteers are kind of just going through the farms, gathering as much food and items as they can to get ready to feed this whole extra lot of people. And Coriander is she's set up her own tent, kind of the north end of Meadowfen as well, and has been going around helping everybody as best she can. All the items that she has been mended by Maybell. She's kind of been giving away to help the others there.
So are we supposed to go see this elder or what?
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds like a really good plan.
Was it just us? What's the plan here?
I'll loop back around to Coriander and just double check that we have her advice correct about what we should inquire to and if she wants to come.
Oh, I don't need to go myself. I suppose just try to get a letter of introduction to the Birdfolk Council to be able to speak with them and get help for everyone here.
All right. Thank you, Coriander.
She nods.
Bunch of pompous bird brains anyway.
Coriander smiles at that and is like, I'm inclined to agree.
Knew there was a reason I put up with you.
She now grins, her like canines showing.
All right. Well, you go get Volker. I'll get Ivo. We'll see what's going on.
All right. Volker.
Taunok makes his way over and wades through the small crowd of children.
Volker will rejoin everyone after his failed attempt at finding trouble.
Yeah.
Hey, Ivo, we're head. Hey, don't pull on. Wait, Ivo.
Children are just giggling.
Ivo, we're going.
Unfortunately, children, my assistant, who has such a beautiful singing voice, requires me elsewhere. But I will be back later.
There's the chorus from the children. And then Endo's like, that means you gotta sing, Taunok.
As if. Not happening. Get over here, you little runt.
He runs over.
Oh, I'm sure you could hit out some angelic notes if you tried.
Yeah.
Come over here, I'll make you hit out some angelic notes.
Only if you can catch me.
I'm getting too old for this nonsense.
So what's
Anyway.
the plan?
As far as I understand it, we're asking for an introduction from the head of Meadowfen to the council in Alderheart to try to get help for Harvester.
Yeah.
That sound about right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that is gonna be a long journey.
I don't know if my hands are strong enough for a climb.
Yeah, well, we can worry about it when we worry about it. Look, we gotta go talk to this guy at the very least. Where do you live?
Over this way.
And don't worry, Maybell. If in doubt, I'm sure Tarnok's gruff attitude will lift you up into the branches.
You're pushing your luck, little man.
I've got an eye on you. No, you've got an eye on me.
Endo definitely starts laughing at that.
One of these days. One of these days.
I'll speak to the moon.
You should
So,
all-
what does this abode look like?
So it's definitely the largest building in Meadowfen. It's kind of in a C shape, a 2-story wooden home. When you go in through the front door, all of the rooms on the first floor are being used by various elderly or injured or sick folk that have come from Harvester. As you go up to the second floor, you see
Door
that
on the left.
yes, the couple of doors on the right are also being used. One of them is closed, and the one on the left is also closed.
And now I know you're curious, but no peeking through the keyholes. That's rude.
Okay, don't worry, I will be nice.
I know you will. Mr. Ardwin. Elder Ardwin.
Oh yes, just a moment. And you hear some scraping as he seems to be getting up from a desk, and you hear movement towards the door, and he opens it. Ah, yes, Maybell, right?
Yes, thank you for remembering me.
Please come in. And he kind of gestures inside his room, and you see it's literally his bedroom. It's got a bed, a small desk in the corner that was probably put there recently, considering it's literally kind of in the middle of the room. Other parts of the bedroom include like his shelves, little odd knickknacks and things, some things that seem to be gathered from other places of the home as well. He's like, I would offer you a seat. I suppose my bed is fine. There's
Just
also
as soon as he says, offer you a seat, Tarnok's plopping down on the bed.
You can also use my my desk chair.
I will politely stand next to what I assume should be a bedroom window. Just makes sense to have one.
Yep.
I can stand, but thank you for the offer.
Also stand.
If no one else takes it, Volker is then going to take, or not Volker, I'm sorry, Taunok is going to take that seat and just scoot it over closer and put one of his feet up on it.
And Endo will climb up onto the bed and kind of like do what children do and bounce on it a little bit. You wish to ask me some questions?
Yes. Firstly, most importantly, perhaps, would you consider writing us a letter of introduction to the Birdfolk Council in Elderheart?
Oh, I could definitely, but I'm afraid I don't have much sway with the council, being just the village elder for a small village. If you go to the magistrate of Winnowing Reach, though, he could definitely write you a letter. Winnowing Reach, you all know, is a relatively new development. It is right there.
Yeah.
It started out as a small outpost, mainly for researchers and slime farmers that are headed into the mock fields, which are down there. When folk began disappearing in the swamp in that area, the Birdfolk Council had decreed that a more permanent settlement had to be developed. And it now has been developed and also holds a small contingent of the Perch Guard. So these are soldiers of Alderheart. The village is built both at ground level as well as within some of the branches of overarching willow trees in that area. And now Winnowing Reach is known for its close ties with the Birdfolk Council, as well as slime research and the harvesting and shipping of slime residue. And Volker would know that the trade of slime is mainly with the avium for educational purposes, although it's recently starting to be used by alchemists, and Maybell would know also by healers who are beginning to test its properties for potions and other medicinal items.
Oh. Elder Ardwin, don't sell yourself short. Our elders are the hearts of our community.
Well, I must say I don't. The council don't think as highly of me, being as he kind of smiles and looks down, being a bird folk who prefers and made his house on the ground.
Like a right sensible person, you mean?
Well, it's also a case of the further away you are from the Older Heart, the less of an issue you are for them.
I suppose that is true. They do seem to focus their soldiers closer to the forest Alderheart, and the farthest point, I suppose, would be Winnowing Reach.
Hmm. Um, I guess secondly, have you have, have you heard anything about bandits here? Specifically here in Meadowfen?
We have had a string of robberies before the refugees came and before the fires happened. It was, we assumed, caused by bandits.
Ivo, do you still have that letter? I believe it would be prudent to take it now.
Yes, here you go.
Thank you. We defeated some bandits on our way to Harvester, and this letter was discovered. I'll hand it over.
Yep, he'll look at it and kind of angle one of his eyes towards it as he reads it, and you notice that he doesn't have the greatest eyesight. He's a bit of an older Gallus, and he nods and is like, I'm afraid, considering the robberies that have occurred have stopped recently, they might have already gone through.
My companion here, Ivo, has a keen eye, and he discovered a hidden message in that letter.
And he kind of, like, you see him kind of strain as he tries to look closer at this whatever hidden thing where it may be.
It's scratched into the paper. It might be better if you feel for it.
Oh. And he puts his hand over and kind of feels and is like, oh, that's where it is. Yes, let me see. Brings it up to his eye again and is like, a bandit coalition. Oh, that's not good.
No.
I have heard of bandit activity growing, as I'm sure you are aware, but for them to coalesce into one big group, that's dangerous.
Might even be working towards like a guild.
He shakes his head and is like,
I mean, it's only dangerous for anyone west of the Winnowing Reach.
And entirely too dangerous for us to handle, if that's what you're thinking.
No, I'm foolish. But I just thought, Meadowfen could use the warning.
Ardwin would nod and is like, that might also be something to talk
Bring
to
up
the.
that Alderheart.
Yes,
I agree.
yes. They might also know something more. Hopefully their perch guard would be on top of this.
Also, just as a third thing, and I don't know if it was just me, but I really felt like the fire that destroyed Harvester came out of nowhere. We didn't see it during the day, and it just popped up overnight, very quickly.
I mean, isn't that kind of how fires go in the Scorched Grove? At least from what I've heard.
Well, no, not like this. There's something wrong with it.
Yes, there are fires that come up on the Scorched Grove, but this one, it's usually the fires are much smaller and away from the towns. That's how they've survived this long.
I don't know if this is heretical of me to say, but it felt very supernatural.
No, I think you may be right. I'm not sure if this is correct, but I have heard rumors that someone is interested in causing these fires. Whether that be a single bird or humble folk or a group of them, I'm not too sure, but dan- dangerous rumors.
Oh my. What could possess someone to cause such cruelty and such disregard for life?
I can only hope that the rumors are false and this is just something that randomly happened and hopefully will not happen again.
Um, well, I suppose in any case, it sounds like Hillcrest was untouched.
Oh, Hillcrest is an interesting one. Have you all ever heard of the stone that protects Alderheart?
Mm, in legendary stories.
Hmm. I think I've heard a rumor or two of it over the years.
And I recall reading something about that in my studies, but it wasn't really an area of focus for me.
I always assumed it was just a rumor.
I've never been close enough to the Order Heart to hear anything, so unfortunately, no.
Well, there are rumors that it might have disappeared from Alderheart. It's possible that Hillcrest, that has become untouched, the stone, the Ova Maya as it's called, it might be there now, considering it was untouched.
Ova Maya.
Ova Maya.
Oh. Oh, okay, never mind. That was a little piece of junk on my screen. I thought it had like an accent over it. It was getting
Oh.
exciting. I'm like, we're getting foreign here.
I just think of ovum and I'm thinking eggs, like bird eggs. What are we?
Yeah.
That's literally, I'm pretty sure it's Latin for egg.
There you go.
Ova, yeah.
The setting does like to take from its Latin roots.
I don't even know if it's a gem. I'm just inclined to be like, it's a fire opal. Oh,
Well, none of us have seen it, so none of us can really confirm nor deny.
Hmm.
So it would be interesting to investigate, but if the stone is there, I don't know. Having a stone so powerful that it protects a village, it would be nice to remain there, but also nice to be used everywhere, as it were. It would be a dangerous item to have.
What would something that powerful be doing in Hillcrest anyway? I mean, certainly those folks in the Alderheart weren't just gonna hand it out willy nilly.
That I am unsure of, because you are correct. The Alderheart would never allow the Ovamaya to leave their sites. It's only a rumor. It would make sense, but
either they're incredibly lucky, they've managed to steal the stone, or they have a prototype, or maybe
prototype.
even a fragment.
Oh, if we can split the stone, we might be able to separate it out to more villages. That would be most ideal.
Mm.
I mean, again, if such a thing exists, which I'm not saying it does, but if it did, and we could split it up like that, could maybe even put it around the whole of the Scorched Grove and keep it contained.
Hardwin's eyes would widen at that, and he would like nod. Yes, that would be most excellent.
Hmm. Depends on how big it theoretically would be. Any case, before flights of fancy take us, um, is there anything that you need of us here for as helpful as we could be?
Not
Chasing off
here, but
anything?
no, I think everything's all right here. When you go to Winnowing Reach, if you do decide to go, also please, if you could let them know to send help. I'm not sure if the magistrate would, knowing him, but I hope. I can only hope.
Hmm.
Sounds like a right piece of work.
I'll gesture
Well,
to the letter. May I?
oh, of course, of course. And he hands it back.
Thank you. Hmm. What is the best negotiation tactic you found with Winnowing Reach?
Oh, if you do work for them, they will reciprocate, I suppose. We usually trade our farming items for their slime and potions and concoctions, and well, at this point, really, we need anything.
My ears, as mention of slime, just pivot towards him specifically. Very intrigued.
Oh, you know of the properties of slime residue?
It's a very exciting field.
Yes, our apothecary here has been s- getting some of the residue from Winnowing Reach and has been using it for some of her potions and healing items, but not recently, not since the bandits have kind of appeared, I suppose.
Have to visit. Oh, that's very exciting. Right. Does anyone else have questions? Inquiries?
Unfortunately, no. I'm primarily just trying to find out what I need to do myself, but if I can offer any assistance by obviously heading out or doing stuff here, that's what I'll do.
All right. Well, I mean, I suppose if no one has any questions or concerns, thank you for your time, Elder Ardwin.
He nods and just says, "Good luck."
Thank you. And I'll urge anyone who is ahead of me to. I'll just do like the little hand wave for like, let's head out the door.
Tanok will groan and get up and lift his little Gerbine buddy off the bed by like the scruff of his shirt and set him down and said, "All right, march."
I can march, and he literally will do the march as he leaves the room.
Well, what are y'all waiting for?
Mm.
We've already left, or can't you see with one eye?
So what now?
Well, it's very clear that we need to go to Winnowing Reach. I mean, as long as you're all still on board with cooperating together to bring help to this area.
And Volker kind of speaks up a little bit and says, "Well, I don't really mean to, I don't mean to be crass or unempathetic. I guess but at some point, um, it becomes difficult to just do nothing but altruistic tasks. It seems that if we want to continue going, we might attempt to, you know, do things that might pay us to, live."
Well, more than likely, if you're looking for a job that pays, our best bet would probably be Winnowing Reach, considering they haven't been hit by refugees and the like.
Hmm. I wish you would have said that like 5 minutes ago. I could have asked if there were any caravans going to Winnowing Reach.
Well, it's not
It's okay.
imperative
We
that we
can
do
ask
anything
the
right
shops.
now. It's just more, you know, long-term sort of goals. I mean, I didn't sign up to, do any of this stuff for the money, but at some point, we don't really have jobs right now, so we could certainly use the money. I don't want to rely on other people's kindness to feed myself.
Oh dear, I wouldn't let you go hungry.
Volker's
I-
got a point, though. We aren't going to be getting good to anyone if we can't take care of ourselves. Now, I'm still not sold on this whole peacekeeping mission, whatever, but either way, seems like Winnowing Reach is the next step, whether I'm sticking around or not. So,
Well, if it comes down to more than enough of us looking for money, if we do at least follow this task all the way to the Older Heart, the pretty much centre of everything, I'm pretty sure we'll find work there.
Well, like I said, just something to think about long term. And you can see as he's saying that, Volker's kind of like messing with like holes in his robes that have kind of just gotten worn down through, partially burnt and all those kind of things. And he's just kind of like realizing that he's wearing tattered clothes and he really doesn't have very much money. And wizards need a lot of money. So,
Yeah, that's fair. Well, I suppose to start, we could at least get a needle and thread.
yeah, I don't have mending as a cantrip either. So,
Yeah, that's right. I do have mending. I've been a fool. I, as a player, forgot I had it. Yeah, so I'll walk over and I'll start mending each individual spot.
Volker looks very excited to see the magic.
so when do we leave?
Tara, what time is it now? Still pretty early morning?
Yeah, I'd say like 11ish, so just before noon.
If I may be selfish, I would greatly like to go see the potion shop.
If you wish, I'm just gonna have a walk around town. So maybe we can all leave tomorrow.
But you don't. They have slime research. Do you know how exciting this field is? There are so many different applications, and she'll start going on like this whole like blah 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 blah, getting technical.
It sounds very slimy.
Mm-hmm.
And Volker kind. I guess he does. I was gonna say Volker kind of wrinkles his nose, but he doesn't have a nose, so you can see he kind of ruffles up his face a bit, like kind of like I don't really want to get involved with any of that. So he kind of agrees with Ivor there, and
Well, my point is it's very exciting research, and it could be a medical breakthrough.
Fantastic. You do that. We'll be over here.
Okay. Thank you. I'm gonna run off to find. I'll ask like the local townsfolk.
Yeah, we were able to find the apothecary really, really easily. It's kind of off on the east side of town. It's a quaint little shop. There's a lot of drying herbs in the windows.
So do we leave her?
That would be really rude, Tanak.
Oh, I'm mostly joking. Relax, short staff.
I would say we don't leave her permanently, but we can leave her to her goo.
Agreed. Again, I was gonna walk around town, try get a lay of the land before we maybe set off tomorrow.
Fair enough. You need a hand?
I'd like more than one hand, but sure.
Well, luckily for you, I got 2 of those.
Well, let's see if we can put them to good use.
We can start with Maybell and the apothecary.
Sounds
So-
good.
As you go in, you see a Corvin woman. Looks like a female cardinal, so think yellow-orange feathers and a black feathered face. And she's kind of like singing and humming as she's mixing something with a mortar and pestle.
Hello.
Hello there. Would you like anything?
I mostly come because I heard you're skilled and you've done slime research.
Oh, no, I haven't done slime research myself, really, but I have incorporated it in some of my potions to varying degrees of success.
Well, I mean, if you're able to do that, you obviously have talent. Please share with me your knowledge.
Oh, you like slime research too?
Oh, absolutely. It's breaking into a brand new field.
And she kind of like uh, excitedly goes around the counter and goes up to you and is like, "Oh, my name is Elspeth. It's nice to meet you. What's your name?"
Maybell.
"Oh, pleasure to meet you. I'm very excited. As you can see, all of these potions," and she kind of like gestures towards her couple of potions. "All of these healing potions have been made with some slime ingredients, and they are actually slightly more potent than the typical potion of healing. But if you go over here," and she kind of leads you down, "these are raw ingredients you can use."
Oh, what happens if you use these?
Well, they can make your potion of healing more potent if you are able to make those, and able to make other potions too, although so far I've only been really successful with potions of healing.
Oh, still, it takes a great mind to apply the ingredients to infuse such a potion to enhance its effects.
Thank you.
And I just like to stay there a bit and babble about technical things.
Yep, she will definitely babble with you, and her name is Elsbeth.
Yeah. Perfect.
And what are the rest of you doing?
So, I was having Ivo look around town for any signs of like banditry or thievery, like the signs of where this is a common place where these type of people would maybe hide out, or
Yeah, you can make a. Well, I guess I'll give it a perception or investigative check with advantage.
awesome. I think I'll take an investigation at a +5.
Yeah, so you do see as you walk around town signs that the bandits were coming through. You see in Thieves' Cant a couple of signals stating, "We've been here. We are going towards uh, the fortress now." And what you do also see as you're going through town, I'll give this to you as well, is the 3 map hatch as well as the hooded Vulpin.
It seems we've come across our friends again.
Mm.
The signs I've been reading are saying the bandits are heading back to the fortress, but considering the area we are and their expertise, it's not looking well for these people.
I mean, you're the expert on this, Ivo. What are you suggesting?
Would you be willing to send Endo off to go get Maybell?
Sure. Hey, kiddo.
Yeah.
Go get Maybell from the potion shop. Bring her back here.
Okay, I'll do it really fast. And he just
Mhm.
runs. He runs like a kid who thinks they're running as fast as like the speediest thing on earth.
I swear that little handful sometimes. All right. Did you just want him gone, or are we actually waiting for Maybell?
Well, if Maybell can get here in time, fantastic. But, Tara, am I able to, I won't say identify, but pick out certain markers that these 4 are bandits?
You assume based on your interactions with the map patch that they are. On the Vulpin with that investigation check, you do notice on her hilt is on the hilt of her dagger there is a rose, which you know from your banditry that it's the mark of a bandit captain.
Well, Tarak, it seems we've got 4 bandits, one of them being a captain. The Vulpin with the dagger, she's the one in charge.
I see.
So again, we can maybe take this elsewhere away from town, but it's a rare opportunity to catch them in such a small group.
Very true. Kind of makes me wish I had my armor still. Well,
what do you think, Volker?
Do we get some kind of reward for capturing them, or?
Well, if we can capture them and at least show the captain's dagger with the rose hilt, it'll probably earn some sort of reward.
probably get us in decently at winnowing reach when we get there.
Agreed.
Plus, if you're worried about a reward, I mean, they're bandits. I imagine they got something on them. Otherwise, they wouldn't be very good at their jobs, would they?
I mean, just the other night I stole 5 gold from one of them.
Huh? I've heard worse ideas.
Just as long as you're both on the same page.
Suppose we could use the coin. Can't have you two running off and getting yourselves killed either.
Well, if you give me a second, I will try to get into a more advantageous position. You'll know when things are starting, okay?
All right.
And Ivo will attempt to slink off to get into a more advantageous position.
Taunok will do the same.
As a side note, Matt, the player, is realizing that Volker should probably go to the shops because he's actually really charismatic and he used to be a merchant. So going and, like, haggling is probably better than going after bandits. Ha!
Yeah, and especially as you're a level 1 wizard.
Uh-huh.
Hey,
Hey.
pretty good plan.
And my +2 to stealth.
To be fair,
Hey.
I enjoy not playing perfectly because it makes sense.
But here we are. Volker is in the thick of it, where he should not be. But Volker will also try to... He's probably going to go after Taunok, kind of, because he doesn't know what he's doing. So he'd probably try and stealth behind him or something. Hey, it's not too bad.
Everybody can make stealth checks.
Is it stealthing in the forest?
No, you're in town.
Yes, this
Ah,
is urban
crap.
stealth.
Yep. Thought they were leaving town. Well, we'll see how this goes.
Well, shit.
Scree.
You see that the Vulpin who has the hood kind of glances towards you as you scatter, I guess. You make too much noise as you're figuring out this plan, and you don't see her face, but she whispers back to the map patch, and they start hurrying, walking a bit faster.
Yeah, just try and keep close enough to them, and when the right situation arises, probably attempt to throw a dagger.
Yeah, you see that they are heading towards the outside of the village, trying to get towards the forest, like the bits of forest that are still towards the north of the village. So you are free to make your attack whenever you'd like.
Well, if that's the case, I will attempt to throw a dagger.
And I assume you're not within 20 feet of them, or are you?
No, I'll be within 60, so it'll be at a disadvantage.
Okay. And who are you aiming for?
Just one of the map packs.
And you miss. But at that, they make a break towards the forest. And we can do the thing.
Gasp.
Yeah,
A thing.
a thing. Can bring you here. Did I do it?
You did.
Oh my
Yay.
goodness. This is adorable.
Yay. Except Maybell is not there, but you can still roll initiative to slowly get yourself over. And I will... Oh, initiative thing. There.
Yeah, that's kind of the reason why it was a... Let's just send the kid off to maybe go get help.
Just out of curiosity, would
I get a
I
feeling I'm
be
gonna
able
get
to-
stabbed a lot.
Would I be able to tease any information from my new friend about how she starts to infuse slime into her potions?
100. Are you proficient with the, what do you call it? With
Medicine kit?
the
Herbalism
herbalism?
kit?
Yeah.
Kit. Nope, just cook utensils, but I would still like to learn anyway.
Okay, so you realize that it's going to take a whole lot of work to learn, but she can get you started.
Perfect.
Give me just.
Been rolling like fire all night. Gets to potential combat. We all roll like dirt except for the person who's not here.
Ha!
You know, because your super stealthy rogue is very quick as well.
I think Endo's gonna be the MVP.
Yes.
At this rate,
I need to make him like a sheet and make his sleight of hand just keep growing better and better.
just make him the skilled sidekick.
Hmm. That would be so cute.
Heck yeah, it would.
Whoops.
I mean, come on, let's admit it. The mouse characters are the best characters, and I'm totally not biased.
Had I not been trying to complete the classic combination of classes, probably would have been a mouse. The Gerbine are adorable.
Yep. I love that Endo's just turned into like um, the group sidekick and basically battle.
Of course, the little runt has. He's adorable. Don't let him hear I said that.
So yeah, you're just gonna be sitting out this round, Maybell, but I'll say that at this point, Endo would have gotten to you and it's like, oh hey, the others are calling for you to come over, you know?
Oh, I suppose I have to go. Thank you
Oh,
so
well,
much,
it was.
Endo.
Oh, thank you so much for coming. It was really fun to speak with you.
Oh, with any luck, I'll be back soon enough. All right, Endo, ready? Up on my shoulders.
Oh, I like when you do that. It's so tall.
Can you touch the ceiling?
I can almost.
You're getting bigger every day. All right, you ready?
Yep.
You ran fast to me, so I'm gonna run fast for you. I'm gonna take off.
Whoop.
Start running towards wherever people are. Or at least where Endo last saw them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you guys start heading over, and the first who gets to move is Fox Captain, and as she realizes that the dagger is getting attacked, or you guys are attacking her, she kind of turns around and she does look familiar to you, Ivo, as you see her face. She draws a short bow and fires at Taunok with 20 to hit.
Oh yeah, my AC is 12 right now.
With 2 damage.
How much?
Sorry, 3 damage. And
Excuse me.
this one's turn. Once this map patch sees that the captain is attacking, he also turns around and runs over. and Volker.
All right, I will try to. I'm gonna magic missile that one.
Ooh.
This is my first non-cantrip.
Nice.
Nice.
Well, should be 5.
Did it?
Oh, it should be 5?
Yeah, it's 1d4 plus 4, and that's just rolled a 1d4.
1d4.
Well, plus
Should
1,
be.
yeah, sorry.
Okay.
And there's also 3 darts, so it should be 5, and then whatever the other darts are.
Okay, I'm gonna have to fix this, but
13.
Yep, this map patch is down.
and Volker will look entirely surprised and a little bit like maybe even like kind of upset that that just happened, and then he's gonna kind of move back behind this tree a little bit.
Yeah, and the other map patch are kind of like hissing and growling at you for doing that. Now
Taudok was just starting towards that map patch when it goes down.
not.
He's kind of like, hey, that was mine!
Volker just kind of shrugs a little bit like, eh.
And from here, given that he has no armor, he's going to continue to just move towards them and taking the dodge action.
Okay. Ivo.
I'll have Ivo. Well, I'm assuming that's Lisa.
Yep.
Then I will move up to this tree here, and I will hold an action until one of the map packs move up to Tarnak.
Okay. So this map at 25, 30. And then this one. And we'll come around to the other side and attack.
Well, luckily, as he's just got close enough to Tarnak, because my person is patient, I have advantage at throwing this dagger at him.
Perfect. Yep, you hit with 10 damage. And this one looks pretty bad at this point.
You also qualify for sneak attack, right?
Yo, that was included. I had advantage.
Oh, that's right. I forget that you've got that set up to include it. My bad.
But even though this map patch is pretty hurt, he still attacks Taunok with
He does.
a critical hit.
He has disadvantage because I'm dodging.
Oh, yes. Let me re-roll that. Does 15 hit?
Yes.
It is 3 damage. The other one would have been 7.
Ow.
Next is Lisa. She will just take a step over here and let her cohort do what they are doing. Maybell, you and Endo get to where Endo was, like, where the others had left Endo, and he kind of looks around and is like, where they were right here. I'm not sure where they went. Maybe
You
they're
know-
playing hide and seek.
I was just thinking the exact same thing. And now, where do you think we would go if we were a couple of grumpy old birds?
The tavern?
But they wouldn't go to lunch without you. And I lightly poke his tummy.
No, that's true. I like eating food at a tavern.
Me too.
Another place to play hide and seek. Maybe the forest. There's lots of trees.
Oh, you're right. And they could cheat by flying.
That's true. They do have wings. Except Taunak won't go off the floor.
No?
No.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. If you
I'm
keep eyes
gonna
up,
strangle that little brat.
if you keep your eyes up, we'll play I Spy on the way there and see if there's any feathered folk that we can get our little hands on. That way they're it.
Okay.
All right. Good job, Enda. That was some really good thinking.
I'm really good at thinking.
Yeah, you are. Full of good ideas. And we'll start heading off towards the forest.
Oh, this map patch is gone, so Volker.
Right. So the one that's behind Taunok, I'm going to use in my other magic missile, and it should be set this time.
Yep, this one also goes down. You meant this one?
I actually meant this one.
Oh, okay. Yep.
And I am out of spell slots.
Worth it.
First level wizard.
Get ready for Ray of Frost.
Yep, they only had 10 hit points, so both of those just decimated them. Okay, next is Taunok.
Ow, that hurt! Oh! Damn it, Volker! And he's gonna go for the next map hatch. And that's gonna be a big old Talon attack. Oh. Sadness.
Big sad.
And since he missed, he's gonna use his bonus action to second wind.
Ooh.
Back to full health.
Perfect.
And that's the turn.
And Ivo.
Ivo, trying to get closer to Lisa, will come here first, attempt to stab. So, see how that goes first.
Yep, that hits, and this map patch is looking pretty hurt.
And he'll look over to Lisa. If you stand down, you won't get hurt, please.
He'll just grin.
That's it for me, unfortunately.
Yeah, this map patch will turn towards Ivo with his short sword with 21 to hit
Yeah.
and 2 damage.
Ew.
I appreciate that the damage of these map patches is so low.
Yeah, I mean, we're all level 1.
It's appropriate for a level 1 campaign. I run mostly modules. I'm not used to this. I'm used to goblins that like two-shot you.
I've also been rolling pretty bad, which has been fun. If the crit had hit, that would have been That would have been more fun.
I have 6 hit points.
I have 9. Well, I have 7 right now.
I have 13 again.
I have 6 hit points and no spell slots.
I don't have any spell slots either.
I'm effectively useless. I have a dagger. Better watch out.
You could cast dagger.
Yes.
It's shockingly effective for one of our other wizards in a separate campaign.
I'm just +4 to
Yes.
hit on a thrown dagger.
Yeah,
Flair the
that-
Dagger Mage has been a fun character to DM for.
Just cast dagger. You'll be fine.
In any case,
Yes. Then back to Lisa. She will just say, well, I suppose I don't want to stick around now. And she just smiles as she
Turns into a bird.
starts to run. Okay, Mabel, you can make a perception check. Yeah,
Where
you can
is it?
hear fighting or something going on in the forest, so you can start heading towards it.
Oh dear. Hey, bud, I'm gonna need you to come down for a minute.
Yeah, but you know I can see really high from up here.
That's true, but I think I hear fighting.
Oh,
Yeah. So my gut feeling is right. I think we know exactly where our friends went.
this is where, this is where Taunok says that I need to hide behind a tree and be very quiet.
Yeah. But we're in the forest. As long as you don't wander too far, you have an opportunity to get a really nice sword fighting stick.
Okay, this time I won't tell Taunok though. I'll be very quiet about it.
Like I said, grab 2. You can make a proper duel out of it.
Okay.
All right. So
Oh,
I'm going
yeah,
to take careful note of where I leave him, and I'm going to head towards the fight.
I swear to God, if you lose my little brat again.
I didn't lose him to begin with. You're the one who gave him away.
If he gets lost again.
Yeah, I'll say with your action, you can get yourself to where you are on the map.
Sure.
So, Volker.
Well, I'd like to cast Hold Person on the Vulpin, but I don't have that spell. So I'll move over here and I will just cast Ray of Frost on our little Mopak friend.
And that hits, and this one is also down.
I am a raccoon murderer.
Yeah. You should add
Gonna
that
make a nice
title to
hat.
your sheet.
Yes.
Raccoon murder. And Taunok.
Well, third one goes down. Fine, whatever. Taunok is just going to go chasing after the Vulpin with a dash action as well. So that's normal movement, and then that seems appropriate. That's got to be his whole turn, though. It's just a big old owl with a big scary orange eye barreling out of the woods after her.
And Ivo.
I will take the dash action as well. Luckily, that makes 50 feet. Lisa, please, stop. Remember we tried to get away from this.
Well,
I
there's
know.
something the coalition is trying to do.
I know you don't like this.
It's different now. And Lisa will take a bite attack at Taunok. 16 to hit,
Yep.
6 piercing damage.
Ow!
And then she will also, with that same movement, use her short sword. 14 to hit,
Yep.
6 damage.
You just
Okay,
got
well, I'm at
fucked up.
1.
You just got messed up.
And she turns to Ivo and is like, you best just let me go unless you also want to be attacked. And Maybell.
Oh, crap. If the kid sees this, he's never gonna let me leave it down. 20, 25, 30. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Yep, that's my turn.
Please tell me you have a healing word.
Volker.
I regret my previous decisions, but all right. How far away is she? Let's see. That's plenty. Ray of Frost. I would like to cast Sleep right now, but I don't have any spell slots, so I'm gonna kill her instead.
You would have hit me.
Yeah. And
Ray of Frost does hit her for 6 damage. She still looks a-okay. Volker.
So. Oh, it's all that Taunok can do. Oh, no, you don't! And he is gonna make a talon attack at her.
I was kind of hoping he was gonna pick her up and suplex her backwards.
And that does hit
And then that's
for
also
pretty good damage.
sink his talons like into her shoulder, and then bonus action grapple because he is a Strig.
Ooh.
And she's going to. You feel her kind of about to give way, but the talons that you have within her cause her to wince a bit, and she doesn't have as much strength to leave. So you now grapple her.
Cool. And then Taunok is dragging her back towards the others 15 feet.
He's hissing and snarling all the way.
Yeah, and just dug right in there, just like, someone deal with this! That's his turn.
I vote.
Ivo will move back up to her and attempt to restrain her. More than likely with a rope.
Okay. Yep. You're able to get with her grappled, you're able to get the rope around her.
Lisa, please, just stop. Explain.
I'm
I
very
suppose.
persuasive, and I can yell at her, and I've already killed all your friends.
I'm gonna run up and I'll be like, guys, what the fuck is going on? Yeah, goodness. What in Lord Karras' name is going on here? And in Taunok's free hand, I give him a good berry.
So
Kinda-
are we out of initiative?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, and I'd say yes, because she's pretty much restrained now. So
Okay. So
they're clear. Eh,
if we're
eh,
out of initiative, then Taunok would, if she is effectively restrained, remove his talons from her shoulder. It's just swear loudly and constantly, even as he scarfs the good berry, just like through the food of just like, God fucking damn, God, it fucking hurts like son of a-"
and Lisa
Okay.
just chuckles.
I'm gonna give him the other 8 good berries. And then Vulpin, I would ask this person, please don't struggle too much. I'm a healer, and there's only so much I can do. And to Tanak, I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna go get your German friend. I'm gonna disappear and come back with Endo.
You keep him out away from us. I don't need her freaking biting him too.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go get him and like leave him on this stump. Yeah.
Hey,
It's still a little messy, Endo. You might want to stay over here. I don't know how bad it's gonna get.
don't worry. I'm gonna practice with a stick.
Oh heck yeah!
Found a good one.
All right, you're gonna
You'll need to
surprise
find
him real
another
good.
one. Okay.
Okay. Stay in this area though, okay, bud?
Okay, I can do that.
Thank you. All
I'm
right.
gonna search my murdered raccoons.
Yep. Do an investigation check.
As I'm disarming Lisa, we tried to leave this. Why are you working with them again?
Well, as I said, the bandits have changed.
The
There's a new
coalition.
leader. Yes, the coalition. I decided to join up again. We have a new leader, someone who cares for the humble folk. You must understand how little Alderheart actually cares for us.
Yeah, I do. Remember, I'm from Ashbarrow.
So I decided to join.
But you must have seen me in the caravan the other night. Why stay near?
Our group was a little bit behind. Well, I didn't care much for the stealing that the Map Hatch were doing. I was trying to get them to just keep following me, but they decided that they wanted to loot the caravan anyway, and I got them to, well, tried to get them to follow, but she nods towards Taunok. He was able to stop them, at the very least.
Damn right. Taunok looks like he might throw up from having just scarfed 9 days worth of magical rations for healing.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's funny. Mabel has a very clear look of confusion as she's trying to do the mental math of how these two know each other.
So what, you're heading back to the fortress?
Yes, our leader has called us all back. Want to go see what she's asking?
Benna?
Yes. Wait. And she looks at Maybell in surprise.
We uncovered a note. Unfortunately, the person who wrote upon it accidentally left indicators that they shouldn't have.
Unfortunate for us, not so for you, I suppose.
I know you're pretty dinged up, but what's this new leader all about? Why are you forming a coalition? I'm terribly confused. I'm sorry.
Well, as I said, the Alderheart doesn't care for humble folk displaced by and hurt by the flames.
Clearly.
Our leader wants to help them. We are, or most of us are, honorable bandits, stealing from Alderheart and taking it to places that need it most.
I am intrigued.
How? Why are you a captain, though? That wasn't your job previously.
I mean, she has to be good, right?
Well, I worked my way back in, raised in the ranks, and our leader seemed to like what I stood for. I wasn't a typical bandit, or now I'm not a typical bandit.
I'll make sure I've got everything I can offer, such as documentation, weapons, and the like. Then I'm gonna remove the rope.
Yeah, so you've taken from her short bow, the short sword with the rose insignia, as well as a map to a bandit camp, which is separate from the fortress. And she will stand and kind of dust herself off.
All eye on her.
So, does that mean that you're eventually gonna have a rebellion against the bird?
Oh, sorry, you cut out a bit there for me.
Oh, sorry. So, does that mean there will be an eventual rebellion against the bird folk?
Probably. At the very least, against the bird folk of Alderheart.
The great tree even allow that?
The bandit coalition is growing. I'm sure we've got enough numbers soon.
I mean, I just heard rumors that the tree is magic.
Magic? I'd highly doubt it. A tree's likely to burn like any other thing, made of wood.
Mabel will shrug.
Lisa, if you wish to continue this life, fine. But please don't follow that path.
I can assure you, I won't harm anybody or steal from any who don't deserve it.
Wait, does that mean that your little group didn't set fire to Harvester?
No, we weren't even near Harvester.
Huh. Okay. Have you seen a humanoid in any of the fires?
Let me roll to see if she has. No, I haven't.
All right. I know this is terribly rude to ask of you since our meeting is this incredibly awkward, but if you happen to get any information on how the Harvester fire would have started, could you loop me in?
Well, that's a strange thing to ask a bandit.
Strange thing to trust a bandit to give you a straight answer.
She seems pretty honest so far.
I'm only being honest, seeing as you seem to know Ivo.
Just recently, come from the Grove, and, well, you know that. So I was helping Coriander with her relief effort. Really, it's how we all met here.
Oh, I've heard of Coriander. Her way is, I suppose, kinder than mine, you could say.
Mm. Well,
So, Ivo will hand her the 10 gold bag and a dagger, not the short sword. I think it's time for you to head back.
Wait, you're letting her go?
Yeah, I am.
mm.
If your leader is actually trying to help people, please try and continue pushing them that way. The last thing we need is more conflict at the moment.
Of course.
You know it doesn't end well for any of us.
I do know. I will. If our leader ever decides to intentionally harm any who don't deserve it, I will defect again, not to worry.
Could I try to bandage her up before she takes off?
Yeah, she'll be kind of suspicious as you get close to her.
If you have spare bandages, I got a few teeth left in my arm that could use them.
Tanak. Of course. Do. I'll try to medicine for both of them. Get our Velpin, and then I'll get Tanak. I don't know very well for medicine.
Yep, you get a Taunok a bit better bandage than Lisa.
I'm more used to feathers.
I suppose, thank you, servant.
Maybell. Hopefully our next meeting will be better.
She grins. I am Lisa. I'm not
Nice
sure
to
if it
meet
will,
you.
but suppose nice to meet you too.
Oh, please, please. The pleasure was all mine.
You should probably go before anyone else realizes what's happened.
She gives a nod before just running into the trees.
As soon as she is gone, Taunok's going up to Ivo and just clamping a bloody claw on him. Listen to me. I'm trusting you on this. Don't make me regret it.
I thought you don't trust bandits.
I mean, to use the technicality, you're not a bandit, and he's trusting you, because you're not a bandit. So
No, but I was for the longest time. That's
I'm
why
gonna
I can...
awkwardly scoot around. And I'm gonna come over here and make a big deal about how Endo took on these 3 map hatch all by himself. He clearly 3-on-1. Big Victor.
Yeah, I've got a sword too, and he kind of like pokes it around and swipes it.
Oh, look at the muscles on you.
I'm super strong.
Yeah, you are. But how high can you jump? And I hold up for a high five.
He runs over and jumps to try to give a high five. He only jumps about half your height.
It's okay. As he jumps up, I lower my hand so he actually meets it.
Yeah, see, I can jump high.
Heck yeah, you can.
And this pile of sticks was so good, I got 2 swords now.
Okay, that goes for a fist bump. Low key.
Hearing
I-
the conversations of Endo behind just a prod at Ivo's chest, and just next person she tries to guts on you. And then he will return to the rest of the group.
Yeah, just quietly to himself. I hope it doesn't come to that.
Man, that seems like a lovely place to stop it.
Hey.
Yeah?
Hey!